All right, guys, welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of Cerebral Conversations. And like I always say, all the interviews are special, but this one is going to be super special because this is another person that I know from TikTok. And I've been following her for a little bit. We've been following each other, and I've been seeing her content. And I reached out to her, and I thought it would be something that would be really interesting to talk about. So I'm going to have her introduce herself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jasmine.
All right.
I'm
All
sorry,
right.
I'm awkward. I don't really know what else to say.
No, no, you're good. So, as far as like how you found me on TikTok, how did that happen?
You came up on the FYP, and so I added you because anybody on the wavelength of disability but keeps grinding, I have so much admiration for it. And so that's how I found you. I seen some of your videos where you were working out, talking about drink your water,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's where I found you from.
Okay, okay. So one thing I noticed from your content is that you post a lot about your I don't know how to say that. I don't know how to like correctly describe. Would you say it's like a brain injury or like you had like because I know you had to deal with surgeries and stuff. Like how would you accurately describe it?
So sometimes I really myself don't really know how to describe it either. And so I sometimes find myself um trying to tread lightly on how to describe it, depending on the person I'm talking to, because truth be told, there's multifaceted facets with it. It is a TBI, a traumatic brain injury from strokes and aneurysms. But because of the sepsis and how far along it went, my brain fused to the skull. And so they had to remove part of it. And then
Oh,
because of COVID and sepsis, a part of my brain died. And so it's a lot of different playing factors, and my pituitary gland is impacted. And so it's a mouthful to tell somebody like right off the rip. And so sometimes I just say it's a TBI. Sometimes I won't say anything at all. Um, and so that's kind of why sometimes I myself really don't know how to sometimes know how to address it because it's so many playing factors.
okay. That's actually good to know because like when I was thinking about the interview, I'm like, okay, how do I like ask you what exactly your have is? Because I don't want to say anything that might be, politically incorrect, say something that might offend. So that's why I asked.
Well, right off the bat, don't think that you're going to be offensive because for me, there's no like dumb or wrong question because I like to advocate a lot about you don't know what you don't know. And even
Hmm.
myself and my own journey and body have no clue. So why would I expect the next person to know? That
Hmm.
would be really ignorant. And so um, I can't hold anybody to that standard if I myself don't know. And so just as we go into this, ask away in what way feels comfortable for you or organic, because it's an unknown journey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So for my first actual question of the interview, what was it like when you first found out that you had what you had and you had to go through, all the surgeries and everything?
So I didn't know until I woke up out of my coma. I didn't know until it was too late. And so um I think it was confusion because I just wasn't understanding or grasping the level of how bad it was. Because truth be told, I was just like, I gotta get back to my daughter and work because I was a youth advocate for our children's homeless shelter, and I managed and overseed our kids between the ages of 18 and newborn. And I was our emergency driver for the state of New Mexico,
Hmm.
and I was a parent educator for the state of New Mexico for our division.
Hmm.
And so I'm just thinking, I'm alive. Let me get back to work. But it was so much worse because my brain wasn't like grasping that, oh, girl, you're blind, you're paralyzed, half your cranial's missing. So, truth be told, it wasn't until probably 4 or 6 months in to like being in rehabilitation, dying 7 more times, um, other strokes, aneurysms, and being forced to just have to sit with it, that I really was like, oh, okay. And even now, that's why I kind of do a lot of advocacy and talking about it now, 5 years out. I really still kind of don't understand and fully grasp the just the magnitude of all that it was and how much it really rocked me just because I've been just bulldozing through it. As a person, as a mother, just for the sheer determination for my daughter.
Mhm.
So to answer that, um, it's like a hit and miss type of realization because I didn't know I had sepsis. And so it wasn't like my strokes or my aneurysms were brought on by like natural causes. It was, I went septic giving birth, and it was endocarditis to be exact for the type of sepsis. And it was because bacteria from my intestines weeded out of itself from pushing so hard. And so while I had a lot of symptoms, a lot of my symptoms mimicked postpartum from giving birth. And it was during COVID. I don't really fault anybody, truly. Um, it mimicked. And I knew nothing about postpartum because I didn't even know I was pregnant with my daughter until 3 weeks till 9 months. And so um, it wasn't till I was 2 months post until I was completely septic, and it caused the aneurysms, the strokes, the brain fusion, the heart attacks. The arteries became completely just severed and disconnected. The open heart surgeries, the autoimmune. But I say all that to say that I'm still here. And so
Mhm.
we as people are very tenacious and resilient. God is good. To some degree and level, medicine helps because I bounce back.
Mhm. So
Sorry.
no, 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 you're good. You're good. I actually that was actually I really like what you had to say, and I actually learned a lot from that just now. Because just to know that you went through all that and you came out of it the other side is really that's really meaningful. And for someone who could be possibly going through the same thing really needs to hear that. And I know you talk about that a lot on your TikTok, so it's good for you. That's good that you got to say that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. And so for my next question is you talked about like kind of bulldozing through and not really realizing it. Do you feel like part of you was bulldozing through and not trying to realize it so much is because you didn't want to deal with the fact that you were going through all that?
Like, which part, like the pre or the post part,
Um,
just
let's
so I
just say
understand.
let's just say for this situation, both.
So like when I was septic before I actually like died and like the aneurysms, I definitely knew I definitely knew. And I actually was letting doctors and people know like something's wrong. Because I was never remotely ever sick. And I got very sick. But like I said, the doctors and stuff were like, that's what was the term they used? Though that's very common for women who just gave birth to their children. And because, like I had said, I didn't know I was pregnant with my daughter until 3 weeks shy of 9 months. I didn't have time to take classes, study. So I knew nothing about what it was to just give birth. So I just took doctors for the word. It wasn't anything bad other than like my blood pressure was dropping. There were just weird signs, but I was very aware of it. And I was really bringing it to the doctor's attention. So for that portion, I will say I wasn't bulldozing through it and just being dismissive. Now, the second part of it, um, like coming home, being out of rehab, um, I'm trying to get my thoughts straight with this. So yes and no. Yes and no. Just because
Mhm.
as a single mother, you kind of don't have a choice in the matter, kind of a thing. And then no, in the sense that, how do I say this? Hold on, I'm like really trying to get my thoughts, my words correct in this. No, in the sense that I've got a pretty steady baseline. Not that I'm like a doctor or anything, but like a steady baseline and when I'm good and when I'm not good.
Mhm.
If that makes any sense?
No, that makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. And the reason I asked that is because I know with all that you explained through all that you've been through, I know there must have been times where you just kind of like wanted to just like kind of just like stop and like kind of break, but I know you really couldn't because of your daughter and you wanted to be strong for her. So that's
Yeah.
another reason why I wanted to ask. And just to keep going from there, I know we're like stuck on this for a little bit. What was the moment for you that you realized that you were kind of getting over like some of the barriers that you were dealing with?
Um, Truth be told, um, I felt like I was really getting over my barriers here recently in the very start of like January, February of 2025, because I live here in the state of New Mexico. It's
Hmm.
a very rural state. Like it takes 3 hours just to get to a primary. Um, and that's just like the basic. And I don't think outside providers understand that. And so I have a whole medical team, and it takes and it has taken me such. And the only reason why I don't go like crazy is 'cause I know that there are so many people, not just here in New Mexico, around the world who have to fight hell and high water with their own primaries to be seen, heard, and even to get the care when you're in the umbrella of disabled and you're just not meeting the mark of what you need when it comes to medical care. And so that keeps me humble from like flipping my lid. And so I say to say that this is so new to me because I've not been disabled. And I say disabled because I hate to classify myself as that, but I am. It just is what it is.
Hmm.
And so I have a whole team of blood infectious disease, pulmonary, heart, a neuro for my head, for my seizures, for my autoimmune. I mean, it's top to bottom, but I have made a decline over the years in trying to get the doctors to acknowledge it um, has been tumultuous, and it has been at my expense time and time and time and time again, to the expense of like I'm losing more body parts, more limbs in my life. And it's like, at what point does it stop? And so in January 2025, I put my foot down and had enough to where I was able to get myself into the Mayo Clinic without any of my doctor's referrals or just any help. And that was so huge for me because, like, getting to the Mayo Clinic is such a second chance at life for me. And I'm so desperate. Like, I will not give up. So I'm gonna probably get a little emotional. I'm just not like I'm just not gonna give up. I cannot give up. Like, how could I give up after dying 5 times, after 7 strokes, after two? Like, it is just unfathomable to me that they won't pull their heads out of their ass on this linear perspective that doesn't serve anybody. And so that for me was definitely a turning point to finally just like get the help. I'm still kind of in this like, holy cow, like it like I'm in there with them. But the administration and Trump really put a halt on all of that because they took away my Medicaid. And so, but a Mayo Clinic is being phenomenal because they just keep pushing back my appointments, pushing back on my appointments. They worked with me forever to see what kind of resources and like nonprofit stuff they had, and they have none because they just know how awful the state of New Mexico is. That's just very telling. But I haven't lost hope because the fact that I'm with them and they're working with me, it's just like I said, it's a second chance at life because like for a moment there, working with my therapist, but I really felt like I was gonna die. I'm currently going through heart rejection. My whole heart is reconstructed out of two animal tissues,
Mm.
and my body is just rejecting it. It's a common thing, but it's rejecting it so much rapidly than any of us would have expected, and I'm showing the symptoms so badly. And while I knew it, to get the confirmation was like so devastating. It was like within a year and a half after having my open heart surgery. And I'm just, like I said, I will not. I will not. I just, giving up is so not an option for me. And so that right there is such a turning point for me. And so that is such a focus and a goal um, for me to get there and be established with them. Because outside of God, truly, and me doing what I've been doing, that is going to be what keeps me afloat here for my little girl.
Yeah, uh, that was a lot. That was a lot, and it's definitely something that needs to be said because whoever sees this, it's good to get those things out there because people that have disabilities, whether it be something like yours or something like mine with cerebral palsy, sometimes we feel. I mean, it it's crazy how often that we don't get the things that we're owed, or as some people would say, the things that we're deserved, whether it comes to like basic care and things like
Yeah.
that. So just from hearing all of that, it kind of puts what I have to, even though I'm not dealing with the same things that you're dealing with, it kind of puts everything that I'm kind of having to deal with in perspective too, and makes me want to kind of want to push harder for that stuff and go forward with that. So
I meet so many people here in New Mexico who are fighting same circumstances but worse situations. And they help me every day. And like, what do I have to complain about? And get back on that horse and keep grinding.
mhm.
Truly.
Yes, yes, for sure. So my next question, to move it more to the positive side,
Yes.
what have been some things that have you've kind of taken as a positive from everything, and how has that helped you like move forward?
Like, and this might sound so I have a hard time with word searching because of the strokes, but like everything. People are like, what? Everything. And people like, and it might sound contradicting, but how do you gain if you've never been through hardship and trials? Like, how do you understand beauty, glory, wisdom? Like, I mean, you gain nothing if you've not been through things. You know what I mean? And diamonds are a result of their pressure. Less pressure, you'd be nothing more than fossilized coal or leaves. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's important to encounter defeat, but not to be defeated. And for so long, I I was so complacent in comfortability because I was so afraid of myself. And because I thought the enemy was the thing, but it was the inner me I was most afraid of. And God had to snatch me out of my mess.
Mm-hmm.
And it was not punishment, it was positioning. And I am so blessed in every way because of who I found to be in that. Like, I mean, I mean, I'm sure you can testify to it too. A lot of people, like who you become on the other side, how could you not? And what you gain in the process of what you've lost is so much greater.
Mm-hmm.
Like truly, like that's why I can't help but to have so much joy in my heart, so much gratitude in spite of everything I've gone through, because how could I not? Because of what I've learned, what I've gained is so much greater. Who I have become, what I have learned. I couldn't talk all of this. I couldn't say all of this. I couldn't give anything. And I told people it's not because I'm any greater, it's because actually I was a lot less than. And
Hmm.
that's the most amazing part of it. I would have nothing to give if it had not been for the very things that honestly tried to take me out. But honestly, was my greatest come up and set up. You know what I mean? And like, uh, I really, with my all of my heart of hearts, am so blessed that I went through what I went through. And the things that I took all the time is what I went through, while it was some monetary losses physically, it's nothing compared to what I've been through even prior to that. And I have so much to offer for the people, the water and the wisdom who are lost and burning just as I was. You know what I mean? And the people
Hmm.
who were able to help me. And that's a beautiful thing to be able to do. And I'm grateful to be able to do it. And so that, all of that, all of that. And so, yeah, sometimes does it suck? Yeah. And so what? Who are we to think that we're going to be spared of hardship? That's foolishness. And honestly, I wouldn't want that life of easiness. No way.
And 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 as you say that, it got me thinking like I've I'm starting to realize that I kind of feel the same way. Like I wouldn't be in the position that I'm in, and I wouldn't be in the places that I'm at. I wouldn't have met the people that I've met had I not gone through what I gone through, had I not dealt with what I dealt with. I wouldn't even be doing this with you had I not done
Exactly.
I done. So, and it's, and just to be able to, even if it's like just helping one person with what with the little things that I go through day to day. Okay, like giving people advice. Okay, this is how you deal with this. This is how you deal with this. Okay, if this happens, this is how you handle this. Maybe you shouldn't do it this way. So, I
And you
mean,
inspired me. And trust, you inspire more people than what you realize. I tell people all the time, like God makes no mistakes in the people he chooses. And more importantly, he called you to the purpose. And I said, but more importantly, like you answered. You know what I mean?
hmm
Like it's so much bigger than us. And like, is it, I tell people, is it easy? Hell no. Like we can pretend, we could fake the funk, but what purpose does that serve for us or the next person? You know what I mean?
hmm So, not to keep this too much longer. I just have a couple more questions left,
Yeah.
and I say that because we only have like 10 minutes left on the Zoom.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
I don't want it to cut off before the interview ends because it's been really really good so far.
You
So
too. Thank you.
yeah, and thank you again for doing this. But my next question is how have how has what I've been posting kind of helped you?
One thing is hydrating. That sounds so silly, but I'm crappy with drinking my dang water. But two, hold on. Honestly, on the days where I feel sorry for myself, because we all do, we fall in those windows, we're feeling sorry for ourselves. You motivate me. You motivate a lot of people. That's what I was saying. You don't realize how you motivate people, whether you choose to realize or not. Because I have MS. I wasn't born with it. It was because of my neuro thing, my spine. And so it's just inspirational to see other people, maybe not like you, but along the lines like you. When you feel alone in your diagnosis or in your world, it's just that you feel so alone and it's isolating. When you find somebody who can relate, that comparison and relatability, it goes so much further than any degree could ever take you. And then you're out here working out. What could anybody say other than an excuse? It's beyond motivation, it's determination, and it's inspiring that words can't put to action, because you're up and you're grinding. It's like it's badass. And so for me, not knowing what I go through, but what you go through, because like, and I don't mean to sound ignorant, because I don't have MS. Like by definition, it's a neurological thing, and my spine is like messed up. You're doing it. You know what I mean? And so
Mhm.
for anybody who thinks they have an excuse, bro, you're just being a bitch, and it's an excuse. You know what I mean? And so it's inspirational for people who are just having excuses to get up and get it and grind. And for people who can relate to you and what they're going through, that they can make it happen. And so for me, that's where I really felt so inspired and related to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. That means a lot. That means a lot. And it kind of, kind of confirms that, I mean, even though I'm not the biggest or, the
You
best
are
thing
in
on the,
spirit. You are in spirit, homie.
I definitely, yeah, thank you for that. I appreciate that too. So, for the last thing before we end up the interview, because we have a few minutes left, what advice do you have for anyone that may see this or see a clip of this that has a family member that's going through what you've gone through or is going through it themselves?
Although you may think you know nothing. No offense. Give grace, be patient for you both. And it's not over until God says it's over. Ah, shoot. Give it to God, give it to your therapist, and give it to the gym. Don't let the enemy or the situation take you out.
That
That's it.
I guess, yep, that was honestly that was the best way I could have that was the best thing that anyone just could have said. I don't know how to, because usually I thought you were gonna say something, like super long and drawn out, but keeping it simple always works.
Right?
Keeping it simple, keeping it blunt always works. Because some people may not want to hear it, but if sometimes you gotta be super blunt with people for them to get it. So,
God bless y'all. And thank you.
and um, okay, to end it off, I'll say thank you again to Jasmine for doing this. She did not have to. I really, really appreciate you for being on and sharing a bit of your story. And I know that there's a lot of people that are probably going to see this that are going to look at you and be like, "Wow, she's done a lot of things regardless of what she's been through, and she's made it out the other side." And people may look at me and say the same thing. But again, like I said, I wanted to say thank you, and I'll make sure to link your TikTok down in the description when I post a video. I'll be posting it soon. I'm not sure when because I have another interview tomorrow. So once I do that interview, I'll look at all the footage for all three of my interviews that I did this week. I actually did three interviews this week, which is really good.
Oh, shoot. Look at you go.
Yeah. So again, I wanted to say thank you for being on and doing this with me, and I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys for the next one.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.